Let's get into CC Sabathia. We were just talking about it. Warren goes to the bullpen. CC, despite being 3-8 with an earned run average over 5.5, stays in the rotation. John, you played this game. You were a catcher. You understand pitchers. Is this the best move for the Yankees, or is this just the easier move because you don't want to disrespect CC Sabathia, a true star in the sport, and demote him and humiliate him putting him in the bullpen?
I think it's a little bit of both, Don. And here's the thing: if you think about the Yankees' 6 starters that they had, and I know Novo has only had 1 start, and he'll throw tonight. There's no question that Sabathia has not been at the top of the list as far as that is concerned. But I think he has garnered so much respect, not only in this game, but in that clubhouse, that he's going to get an opportunity to try to figure this thing out. And, Don, my feeling, Adam Warren in the bullpen, for me, makes this team a better team all around every day because that right-handed relief pitching maybe in the 7th or 8th inning is what they've really been needing. So I think in that aspect it makes a little bit of sense. But, the bottom line last night for Sabathia, he makes a couple of mistakes, a couple of solo home runs, gives up 4 and 7+. And, we were talking about it after the game last night. You have to win that game. The way he threw the ball last night, it did not throw the ball great, but it wasn't terrible. And the Yankees just couldn't get anything going offensively back-to-back games. And then probably looks a lot worse than it really was.
John, are you surprised they didn't wait a little bit longer to make a decision one way or another and stay with 6 men, maybe to the All-Star break or somewhere around there?
I don't know if I'm surprised, Ryan, just because, I think we talked about it a little bit. Adam Warren and his innings limit is kind of getting to the point where he's pitched, out of the bullpen. So I think the timing of this move probably makes a little bit of sense with the fact that you have a couple of off days coming up and you put Adam Warren in the bullpen now immediately and try to get some of the positive results in the next couple of days. But, there's no doubt that Adam Warren did a fantastic job in the bullpen, doesn't deserve to be demoted, or in the rotation doesn't deserve to be demoted to the bullpen, but I don't view it as a demotion. I view it as something that's going to make this club overall a little bit better.
So what do you see if it doesn't change for CC? I mean, do you see anything that makes you believe that this guy can become not what he was, but at least somebody that can be above 500 and get that earned run average down a little bit and be more of a serviceable pitcher than he's been?
It's the 19 home runs, Don, that jump out at you leading the league. And, when he makes a mistake now and ends up in the seats. And that's the one thing that he's got to figure out. And I don't know if it's trying to get a little more movement on his 2-seamer and trying to keep it down and away and make sure when you come inside that you miss off the plate in. And that's what happened last night to some of the righties, Trout and Crone hitting the home runs. He tried to go inside and left it over the middle in. And he can't do that anymore. So, we've seen this transition with Mike Mussina in the past. And, there's a formula, there's a blueprint for it, and he just hasn't kind of quite figured it out. But, the hits weren't overwhelming last night as the amount of them. I think maybe 6. But, the home runs are really the one stat that jumps out.
John, I mean, you've seen this happen with pitchers before where they're, pitchers of great status and they don't have the same stuff or they struggle. What is the most difficult aspect, you think, mentally right now for CC Sabathia?
Yeah, I think that mentally, Ryan, he's probably thinking back to the days where, it's never been this hard. It's always been, and you hate to say easy because it's never easy, but as hard as he threw and as nasty as his stuff was, it was easy for him. And now he's finding out that, there's a fine line at this level with location when you don't have the stuff. And I think his personality, Ryan. I know his personality. This guy is a very proud man and a man who, really took a lot of pride being the top end of the rotation, innings eater, all those other things, and somebody that his teammates could rely on every 5th day. And it's not happening right now, and it's not going to be from a lack of effort or a lack of preparation. He's going to work and try to figure out how to get through this. And you're just waiting to see that one game where maybe the light goes on and he says, all right, this is how I have to do it, and you move forward.
Talking to John Flaherty from the Yes Network. We'll have the game with Ken Singleton tonight in Anaheim as the Yankees will play Game 2 of their 3-game set with the Angels. Whenever we've talked, John, it's been, who do you worry about in the American League East? And we all said Baltimore, and now it's happened. Baltimore has taken over first place, a share of it with Tampa. Do you think when this is all said and done, it's Yankees, Orioles competing for this division? And if that's the case, then who do you think takes it?
First of all, Don, I think it's still too early to say that it's just going to be Baltimore and New York because, I think it's going to come down to which club can make a deal, or a trade deadline deal. Is it Toronto and they go out there and they get a starter and a closer? Then they have to be part of that conversation. Is it the Yankees who make a deal? So I think there's a lot to be determined. We're starting to get to the month of July, and I think this year, like no other, I think the trade deadline is really going to be the difference, and probably in all of baseball, but this division specifically. I think Buck Showalter has earned the respect in Baltimore that they're going to be pretty tough coming down the stretch.
John, we talked about it a little bit on the broadcast the other day, but when you're as hot as Brett Gardner is right now, I'm just mentally, how worried are you it's going to end any one of these days?
You are. You're concerned. You try not to think about it. We talked about it. You show up at the stadium and you hope everything feels the same. You go through your routine, but this is at another level, Ryan. I mean, I'm watching this guy now. It's just ridiculous how he's using the whole field, line to line. He's swinging the bat with power. At the top of the lineup with Ellsbury out, he's been phenomenal. But all that being said, this Yankee club they have to figure out a way to score runs without hitting the long ball because, right now that's how they're kind of made offensively. If they hit home runs, they're going to look pretty good. But Brett Gardner's has been incredible, and you look forward to Ellsbury getting back here soon and the top of the lineup try to manufacture some runs.
Now, he's a veteran. I probably wouldn't worry about it too much with him, John. And the other thing, too, is some of these home runs are bombs. I mean, some of the home runs he hit in that series last would have been out in any ballpark, so he's really doing it. But do you ever worry about a guy that will develop the home run swing and kind of forget the bread and butter of what got him into the major leagues in the first place?
You would worry about it with other guys, but not with Brett. He knows what his game is. He's, line to line, put the ball in play, uses legs. And I think there was one stretch or one little time during the stretch where he was trying to go for the cycle, and maybe he got a little bit big with his swing. But the next day he was right back at it. So I wouldn't worry about him too much.
All right, you mentioned Ellsbury eventually getting back into the lineup. We know what that means to this team, but do we know he'll be able to jump right back in and where he left off before he got hurt?
He'll be the only one to say that. We talked about how many rehab games does he need. He played last night. He DH'd, so probably be in the outfield today. He's going to be the one as a veteran who calls up Joe Girardi or Brian Cashman, whoever it is, and says, my timing's fine. I'm ready to go. I can help you guys win ball games. So you hope it's only a few days. Maybe you see him Friday in New York. That would be the best-case scenario. But he just gives, the lineup a whole different feel with, leading off, Brett hitting second, and then you have the big boys in the middle. So the Yankees desperately need him back because, like I said, it's pretty one-dimensional right now. If they hit home runs, they win. If they don't, they struggle.